Assalamu alaikum. Hope everyone is doing well. In this lesson, we'll be going over the second property of an ism, which is gender. So previously, we talked about an ism having four properties. So let's just take a look at them. So property number one, definiteness. This is whether the word is specific or non-specific. For example, an apple versus the apple. Next is gender. This is whether the word is masculine or feminine. Then we have number. This tells you whether the word is singular, dual, meaning two, or plural, meaning three or more. And finally, we have status. This tells you the role of the word in a sentence, and we'll be covering that in detail later on, so no need to worry about that. Let's head over to gender. So the default rule is all isms are considered masculine, right? So anytime you see a word, you have no reason to think it's not masculine unless it falls into these 8 cases of femininity. So let's go over the 8 cases. Case number 1, a ta marbuta ending. This is the most common. If you see a word ending in a ta marbuta, then it's highly likely it's feminine. For example, muslimatun. See the ta marbuta ending right here? Therefore, you can assume it's highly likely this word is feminine, and in this case, it is. Same thing with sayyaratun. Again, ta marbuta ending, therefore highly likely it's feminine, and it is. But not every word that ends with a ta marbuta is going to be considered feminine, because some words that have the ta marbuta ending are inherently masculine and they'll remain male. For example, Talha ends with a ta marbuta, but it's masculine because it's a male name. And same thing with Khalifa because it's inherently male. Next up is case number 2. This is the Alif Surah ending. So this ya looking thing without the 2 dots isn't actually a ya, it's a Alif Surah. And if you see words ending with this, then it's likely it's feminine. For example, Husna, you see the Alif Surah ending right here, it's likely that this word is feminine, and it is. Same thing with Yusra, Alif Surah ending right here, therefore it's likely it's feminine, and it is. But similar to the ta marbuta, some words will remain masculine, like Isa and Musa, because in this case, they're inherently male names. Next up, we have case number 3. This is when you have words ending in Alif Mamduda. So this Alif right here and this little Hamza is called an Alif Mamduda, and if you see a word ending with it, then it's feminine. For example, Ad-Darra, you see the Alif Mamduda right here at the end, therefore you can consider it to be feminine. And again, Al-Ba'sa, you see the Alif Mamduda right here, therefore again you consider it to be feminine. So we went over 3 cases, and all 3 of them are indicators of femininity at the end of the word, like the Alif Maksura, Ta Marbuta, and the Alif Mamduda. Now we have case number 4, names of places. So names of places will be considered feminine. For example, Mecca, again a name of a place, therefore considered feminine. America, which is America, again a name of a place, therefore it's considered feminine. This one's fairly simple. Next we have case number 5. These are female only adjectives. So these are words that can only be used to describe a female. This usually only applies to things that are exclusive to women. For example, hamilun, which means pregnant, and therefore it only applies to a female, which makes this word inherently feminine. Same thing with Zainab, which is a female name, therefore it's inherently feminine. Next we have case number 6. So these are body parts in pairs. So any body part that has a pair will be feminine. For example, yadun, which are your hands. You have 2 hands, therefore this word is considered feminine. And again, rijlun, which are your feet. You have 2 feet, therefore this word is considered feminine. And any body part that isn't a pair will be masculine because that's the default. Next up, we have case number 7. This is because the Arabs said so. This can be a bit difficult to identify, but through experience and exposure, it'll become clear. Essentially, these are words that Arabs decided would be considered feminine, regardless of it fitting under any of the cases we went through. So, for example, we have Shamsun. It has no sign of femininity, but because the Arabs said that it's feminine, we'll consider this to be feminine. Same thing with dunya, no sign of femininity, but because Arab said so, it is feminine. Same thing with narun, nahrun, and again, because the Arab said so, this is considered feminine. Finally, we have case number 8, broken plurals. So all broken plurals in Arabic will be feminine. So we'll cover broken plurals in detail later on, but essentially what you need to know is when certain isms are made plural, they break the regular appearance either by inserting or removing something from the original letters or between the original letters. So let's go over a few examples. So in English, this is a normal plural. We have book and books. All we did was add an S, and the original word book is retained. But this is an irregular plural because we have mouse and mice. You see, the original word isn't retained in the plural form. So in Arabic, it's the same thing. We have qalamun and aqlamun. This is pen and pens. You see, we added a hamza right at the beginning and a alif right in the middle. Qalamun isn't being retained here. It's changed. Therefore, this is a broken plural. Another example, kitabun and kutubun. So book versus books. You see, the alif right here in the middle is removed from the plural form. Therefore, this is a broken plural because the original word isn't retained. So those were the 8 signs of femininity: the ta marbuta ending, the Alif Mamduda ending, the Alif Maksura ending, names of places, female-only adjectives, body parts in pairs, because the Arab said so, and broken plurals. So if you don't see any of these signs, then you know that the word is masculine because that's the default rule. So that's all for the lesson, and I'll see you guys next time.